non-Arabs, the first and the far most important thing is to learn at least the fundamentals of Arabic. The fundamentals of Arabic. And after that, you should go and understand deep and deep in the Quran. So you will find that it is totally something different. I mean that because, for example, those who are only reciting the Quran and they do not understand it, they are as if we could compare those who are going to the kindergarten and those who are going to or making the PhDs, for example. So this is the level. So actually, whenever you are in a very low level, means that yes, you are having and receiving, that's nice. But you do not feel, there are a lot of things that you do not understand and you cannot go into. So this is why the meaning of يَدَّبَّرُ آيَاتِهِ means that to understand deeply. How you should understand it? Inshallah, later on, this is why we made the tafsir class. We made another class, but we stopped it. Not stopping, but actually because we are doing the tajweed and tafsir together, and sometimes fiqh. So for the tajweed, just today, inshallah, I'm going to spend it on the tajweed. And whenever it comes to make the tajweed and tafsir together in the same session, inshallah. So tafsir is very important and we should go through it. وَلِيَتَذَكَّرَ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ means that, and it's a reminder for those who have intellects or hearts. As we said, look here, the Quran is a reminder for us. So keep the recitation of the Quran and listening to the Quran is very important. Wallah, it is very, very important. Those who are listening to music always and listening to the dramas and watching movies, and they are highly exposed for a long time to entertainment stuff in general, they are losing something that they cannot even realize, which is a tadabbur, as we said here, and a tadakkur. However, Quran, if you live with the Quran, you will find that it occupies every part in your heart and intellect. And this is something really, Allah. If you could, if the Quran is there always in your heart and mind, you will find that there is no place in your heart for other stuff. So for example, whenever there are some people, they were arguing with me regarding music. They are telling me music is something that we cannot afford. I mean, something that it pleases our souls and pleases our hearts and so on. And I agree in this part to some extent. I mean that yes, whenever we listen to some music, we can say that yes, we have something that is good, we can feel. The problem is not preventing this kind of amusement that we can feel from the music. But the point is, if your heart is full of the entertainment of the part of the Quran, you will find that there is nothing is comparable to it. Okay? As if, for example, that you are every day eating something that is, what is the best food in Pakistan that you could?
Mango.
The what?
Mango.
Mango? Okay. So fruit. Okay. So if you are eating mango, for example, or fruit every day, and someone came to you and gave to you roti, what is it? Roti, huh? So roti, for example, say that no, I do not want it. So it doesn't mean that roti is bad. No, this is a food, and it's very, very delicious for many people. The point is you get familiar with a certain level of entertainment and amusement that by which and based on which you can look to anything else to be less than what you are doing. And this is the same. Quran, if you live the Quran and the words of the Quran, you will find really it gives to you a great deal of experiences that occupies your heart and feeling and so on. And there is one thing that is important. I want to, because I was going deep in this point, which is that Quran is giving to you two things in the same time. That it gives to you, if you are the person who is always like the rhythm and so on, you will find that listening to the Quran itself, it gives to you this rhythm, that you will find it very peaceful and brings tranquility to your heart. And in the same time, it makes you live in experiences that is not or cannot be brought to you by the music and the song stuff and so on. Okay? Because in the Quran, you'll find different topics in the same page, for example. Okay? The song, no. The song is always 95% of the songs are talking about the lover and the love between male and female. Okay? This is always they are talking about this issue. And you'll find 5% talking about whatever you want. Sometimes about mother, sometimes about our country, sometimes about the nature or something. But 95% is going to something like this. And this part actually, they are magnifying it so much to the extent that it is like a balloon. Okay? But actually this is not right. They are giving the great deal of things in one thing only, which is, we call it al-hubb and so on. And in Quran, for example, you'll find that hubb is not the word used between a male and female, even between the two spouses. Okay? It was al-mawaddah wal-rahmah. Okay? The mawaddah means that the mercy, and mawaddah, affliction, I guess. So this is something that is there between the two people. I mean that between the male and female when they are husband and wife. But actually, for the love, it is something not mentioned in the Quran in this context, because it is not really describing this relation. I do not want to go into details about this, but anyway, let's go back to what we are saying here. لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ وَلِيَتَذَكَّرَ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. The second part regarding adab al-Quran, the etiquette of the Quran, which is al-hissi. Al-hissi means that the tangible one. وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Whenever the Quran is recited, you should استمعوا, means that يستمع in Arabic means that to listen, ينصت. Listen carefully. Listen that you can hear and you can listen. So hearing means that you can find some sound and voices and so on. But listening means that to carefully listen and to understand at the same time. وأنصتوا. أنصتوا means الاستماع مع ترك الكلام. To listen without speaking. Without any speaking. Because you can listen and speak in the same time. For the Quran, no. لعلكم ترحمون. So that you may attain rahmah, or you may have rahmah. And this ayah, it was given in the context of, or it is related to as-salah in general. Whenever the imam is reciting the Quran, you should listen to him. Okay? But if the person is reciting the Quran, for example, in the masjid, and you are doing another stuff with your friend, so in this case, you should not stop what you are doing and listen to the Quran. Okay? I mean that this is, the context here doesn't mean it. It doesn't mean this. If you are doing something special in the masjid, for example, or you are walking outside and someone is turning on the Quran recitation, for example, you cannot leave what you have and just listen to the Quran in this case. No, the meaning is not this meaning. Even though that we should always showing the respect toward Quran. But the meaning, the context here is regarding the salah and the salah. Okay.
Professor, I have a question. So what about if you are listening Quran on your, for example, computer, you yourself turn it on, not other person who is reciting Quran, you yourself turn it on, and then you are doing your work. You're not listening carefully, you are just listening, not carefully. You are focusing on your work and then you are listening, just like music.
I see. So this is okay or not okay?
Yes.
Let me check this. I think that it is okay. Let me check it to give an accurate answer regarding this, because I think that the point here, if we're not going to listen to the Quran, then we should not turn it on. This is what I know. But let me check it and see what is the fuqaha saying regarding this point in particular, that is turning on Quran.
I read on islamkeyword.org.
Yes.
He said that you should not listen to the Quran if you are doing something.
Doing something else, yes.
If you are not attentive to Quran, then you should not.
You should not, yes. I think this is the right opinion, but let me check again and come to you. But I think that you should not, or the person should not do something like this. When you turn on Quran, you should listen to it. So it is not something that is in the background for you and doing something else. So that's the point.
Professor, I just want to add one thing. The question is actually, I think the question is like this. So if I'm working in the lab and I'm doing something, can I turn on the Quran while I'm doing something? For example, I'm cooking at home and can I turn on the Quran and listen to the Quran? I'm not listening to the Quran actually. I'm doing something and I wasn't turning on the Quran. But then I thought maybe let's turn on the Quran and keep cooking like this.
Yeah, because if you are doing so for, this is why I said that we need to be, I want to check it, because it has different intention. Sometimes you are doing so in order to memorize Quran, for example. While you are doing something, you turn on the Quran and you are repeating, for example, with this. So let me check that, because I'm sure that there are some different cases. So we have to be sure about this. But it's an important question. Let me check it and I will inshallah post it or send it to you in the group. Okay. Next point is maratib al-qira'ah. Maratib al-qira'ah. Maratib al-qira'ah means that the different levels of recitation. The different levels of recitation. So maratib al-qira'ah, the first one is at-tartil. At-tartil means tu'adah, being slow. With tadabbur means that understanding, and mura'at al-ahkam, and to be careful with the tajweed rulings. This is what we call it tartil. So at-tartil, it has three different implications, or there are three different points should be considered. The first one, tu'adah, means that slowly, and the second is tadabbur, which is understanding what you are reciting, and number three is mura'at ahkam al-tajweed. Take care of ahkam al-tajweed. We call it what? Tartil. This is what? Tartil. The second point, or the second level of qira'ah, we call it tadweer. Tadweer. Okay? The second point is tadweer, or the second level is tadweer, which is tawassut al-sur'a, which is, it's not very slow and not very fast. It is something moderate, in between. Plus mura'at al-ahkam, plus taking care of the ahkam, or the rulings of the tajweed. And the last level, and the last level is hadr, which is sur'a, reciting fast, and muhafadha ala ahkam al-tajweed, and taking care also of the tajweed rulings. As you can see, taking care of the tajweed rulings is in all different levels, whether it is tartil or tadweer or hadr. So we have three different levels of qira'ah. There are some people, some ulama, they mentioned there are fourth level, which is tahqiq. Tahqiq, it's slower. I mean that slower than even a tartil. So it's very slow. Okay. So remember well these three: tadweer. First what? Tartil. Tadweer. Hadr. Okay. Tartil. Tadweer. Hadr. Okay. So these are the three different levels of al-qira'ah. Let's go to al-tajweed. What is the meaning of al-tajweed? Linguistic meaning and technical meaning. Linguistic meaning, tajweed means that al-tahsin, or al-itqan, means that to do something good, in general. This is linguistically. Technically means that علم يبحث في الكلمات القرآنية من حيث إعطاء الحروف حقها ومستحقها. It is a knowledge that is going to, or a knowledge, or a certain type of science or knowledge that is searching for the Quranic words من حيث, from two different aspects. The first one is من إعطاء الحروف, giving the letters its حقها. حقها means its rights. ومستحقها means that its dues. We're going to look about this in very detail. What is the meaning of حقها ومستحقها? But in general, al-haq means that صفات الحروف, like for example the characteristics of al-huruf, which is, we say al-ta, it is from huruf al-isti'la, for example. Al-sin from huruf al-istifal. This is haqqaha, this is the right of it. What is the type of the right? What is the characteristic of the right? What is the characteristic of the letter? Okay, this is haqq al-harf. And al-mustahaq means that the ruling because of this. Whenever we say ta, it is from huruf al-isti'la, then it should be mufakham. So this is mustahaqqa. And sin, because it's from huruf al-istifal, so it should be muraqqaqa. So this is mustahaqqa. حقها ومستحقها. The characteristic and the dues due to these characteristics. Okay. Al-Imam Al-Jazari, rahimahullah, he mentioned the definition also of Tajweed. He said, وهو إعطاء الحروف حقها من صفة لها ومستحقها. The same also. That giving the letters its rights from each characteristic and its dues. Al-Imam Ali, and it's ينسب إلى الإمام علي ibn Abi Talib, one definition for Tajweed, he said, هو تجويد الحروف ومعرفة الوقوف. Making Tajweed of the letters and know where to stop. Where to stop. And actually this definition by Imam Ali, I think it's very, what I can say, very accurate definition. Because it is the first time to bring the point of معرفة what? معرفة الوقوف. Knowing where to stop. Because knowing where to stop means that you understand. So this is very important level that you should understand and to know where to stop. If you stop at this level or at this point, the verse will have meaning. If you didn't stop, it will have another meaning, and so on and so forth. So this is the meaning of At-Tajweed in general. After that, let's go to Aqsam At-Tajweed. Aqsam At-Tajweed, definition. So Tajweed, what is the linguistic meaning?
Beautiful.
Something good.
Yes, to make something good. What is the technical meaning?
To give every letter its haq.
Yes, haqqu wa mustahaq. Yes, haqq is the rights and mustahaq means the dues. Rights like what? What did we say regarding al-haqq?
About its characteristics.
Characteristics. For example, the isti'la or al-istifal. And what is the dues or mustahaq?
Because of these characteristics, how should it be pronounced?
Yes, that's right. That's very nice. Okay. الأحكام الناشئة منها. Okay. أقسام التجويد, and I want you to remember those. Al-Imam Al-Jazari. Imam Al-Jazari, he is the most famous one in أحكام in Tajweed in general. He is the most famous scholar. So whenever, if you are attending class for Tajweed, you should always remember this. Al-Imam Al-Jazari. Okay, Al-Imam Al-Jazari. He is the most prominent scholar in terms of Tajweed. Okay. Aqsam al-Tajweed, we have two different Tajweed categories. The first one is Tajweedun Amali and Tajweedun Ilmi. Al-Amali means that practical. And the other one is theoretical, which is Ilmi. Al-Amali means تطبيقي, practical one. And قراءة القرآن كما قرأه رسول الله. Means that we should recite the Quran as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam recited it before. Okay, that's what we call it amali. So you'll find many people, especially in the Arab countries, they do not know anything about Tajweed. They do not know anything about the Tajweed. But their recitation is perfect. Why? Because, as we said, what we are doing now is, whenever we are going to tafkhim, tarqiq, and ahkam al-ra, and so on, this is Tajweed nadari. It's theoretical. We are learning it to teach it for other people. But actually, for many people, they do not go into this Tajweed process. They just listen to the Shaykh and they recite, and recite correctly. And this is the most cases in Arab countries and so on. And in the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, there is no Tajweed nadari. I mean that Rasulullah didn't bring all the Sahaba and sit together and said that we are going to give to you a class for Tajweed. No, there is nothing like this. The Tajweed, this is why some ulama, they said that Tajweed is not ilm, it's not a science or something. I mean that it's not knowledge. But actually this is not right. Because in the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, was naturally. He speaks Arabic fluently and the Sahaba, they speak it fluently. So no need for this. But we found after that, we have billions of people now. So we cannot control it unless we have this kind of Tajweed rulings. So the first one is Tajweed al-Amali, practical, and the first one who established it is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was receiving this revelation, and he is considered to be the one who started giving the right recitation of the Quran. Hukmu, this is very important part. Hukmu, the ruling of it. واجب وجوبا عينيا على كل من يريد أن يقرأ القرآن. It is an individual obligation on every person who wants to recite the Quran. Obligation. Okay? التجويد العملي. For every Muslim, it is wajib, obligation. وجوبا عينيا, individual obligation. The dalil, the evidence for this from al-kitab, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, that it is a command